If you're watching this video, you probably care about looking as young as you feel and want to find out ways you can do that. What I'm about to share with you is 5 facial rejuvenation mistakes that can literally ruin your face. All right, folks, you're not gonna wanna miss this. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Amir Karam, board-certified facial plastic surgeon and founder and creator of KaramMD Skin. I specialize in facial rejuvenation, which basically means I help people look as young as they feel. And folks, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm here to empower you to make good decisions, smart decisions to keep you out of trouble and lead you to fundamentally looking as young as you feel, and getting through all that confusion and all the marketing hoopla and all this other stuff that has probably made your head spin and may have helped you make a few bad decisions that are probably regrettable. So I'm gonna list my top 5 things that ruin people's faces. Sounds extreme, but I truly, truly mean this. The consequences of these decisions are regrettable and tragic for a lot of people. So we're gonna delve into it and hopefully make the world of facial rejuvenation a safer place. All right, folks, let's get into it. So number 1, and this may sound trivial, but number 1 is sun. Let me just be very clear. I love the sun. I'm from San Diego. I spent my entire childhood enjoying the sun. I still go out on 2-hour hikes in the mornings and on the weekends and play tennis and pickleball and everything else. I'm always in the sun, but I protect my skin. I protect my skin using sunblock that is broad spectrum, basically a physical blocker like zinc and titanium oxide. I've done entire videos on how to select the right sunblock. So I'm not gonna belabor this point. My wife has been doing it also for the last 15, 20 years. But I will say, those who do not heed by this advice will regret it, because the sun is the greatest accelerator of skin aging. As you can see by some of these pictures, you can see how hardcore the sun can be in terms of damaging the skin. Some people use it on their face, but don't use it on their neck, and all of a sudden their neck looks like 20, 30 years older than their face. They do the same thing for their face, but don't do it for their hands, etc., etc. I mean, the whole thing points to the reality that sun can really, really accelerate skin aging in the way of fine lines and wrinkles, breakdown of collagen crepiness, as well as discolorations, not to mention skin cancers, squamous cell carcinoma, basal cell carcinoma, and melanomas. All are directly correlated to the amount of sun. Now, if you're gonna stand back and say, but the sun is so important for vitamin D protection, it's so good for us, etc. You're absolutely right. Enjoy the sun, protect your skin of your face first of all. You don't need your face converting vitamin D, that's not necessary. You just need some parts of your body to convert vitamin D, and you don't need to do it that much. The amount of time that you need under the sun to convert vitamin D is literally in the order of like 20, 30 minutes, 3, maybe 4 times a week, and you're gonna get enough vitamin D conversion to balance out your needs. Now, trunks, arms, etc., let it go, but the face is the one thing that is very, very hard to cover, obviously, and if it starts showing signs of aging, you're gonna regret it. And it really does kind of contradict everything else you're doing for your face, whether you're on skincare, doing in-office treatments, etc. You're kind of going backwards if you're getting tons of sun and doing those things. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. You're wasting your money. So sun is number 1. Number 2, too much filler.
Emily's case is what I would call a classic case of lip overfilling.
How much do you think is still in there?
I wouldn't be surprised if every drop of filler that she's ever had is still there.
Folks, you've all seen this. Even doctors and nurses and whoever are injecting these fillers with the best intention to basically prevent you from aging. To basically say, hey, if we add volume to your cheeks and your jawlines and this and that, what we're gonna do is keep your jawline and neck from sagging. I'm gonna tell you that that line of thinking is completely, completely flawed. And it took us about 10 years of doing it to realize that not only are you gonna age no matter how much filler you put in your face, but what you're going to get in consequence is a very deformed and unusual looking face that in many ways is basically irreversible. You can't go back. Yes, you can remove some of the filler. Well, great. You know how much of a process that is to remove that much filler? I mean, it's multiple sessions under ultrasound guidance to find the little pockets of filler, etc. You use enzymes to do it. However, the process of your natural breakdown of filler that your body goes through the minute the filler enters is a process of inflammation. Inflammation leads to scar tissue. Scar tissue is irreversible. You can't break it down. So what you're gonna get is some level of deformity that is gonna be there for the rest of your life, no matter what you do. Not to mention that it makes surgery for you one day that you decide to do a facelift much more difficult. So too much filler is one of those things that kind of sneaks up on you because you're gonna be doing it starting, say, in your early 40s, oh, I'm gonna, I see a little volume loss, I'm gonna stay in front of it, or you've been told that it'll prevent you from needing a facelift too soon, so you keep doing it every 6 months to a year. Next thing you know, cheeks are out to here, jawline's out here, lips are out to there, and you're kind of stuck with it. We've seen this way too many times. Let's not make those mistakes again. Fillers are okay in very small amounts, done very infrequently, but they don't solve the problem of facial sagging. Facial sagging requires surgery, and that's it. So don't try to use one over the other. Number 3, deep radiofrequency microneedling. And what do I refer to as deep? Anything above 1 millimeter. Keep that number in mind. Because if you go in and you get, say, Morpheus 8 treatment, because you're trying to tighten up your skin of your jawline or your neck, and it's supposed to stimulate collagen, et cetera, so you go in and do it, you're probably doing it at depths greater than 1 millimeter. And when you do it at depths greater than 1 millimeter, guess what's there? It's your facial fat. So what ends up happening is the skin of the face is almost at the deepest levels about 1 millimeter. Most places it's even more thin than that. So you put energy through radiofrequency microneedles that bring energy and heat into the layers at depths greater than 1 millimeter, so 2, 3, 4 millimeters, sometimes even up to 6. Where your needles are landing, where that energy is landing, is in the subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat means fat under the skin. When heat and fat mix, fat melts. When fat melts, guess what you end up with? Skin that is no longer as supple, skin that has actually lost its supporting fat layer underneath it, which gives it its structure and integrity over the fascia, and the skin actually looks older. So people have said this for years now, and I swear, when I first heard it, I didn't believe. But then I saw it over and over again. Now it's a common truth. Everyone who's been doing this long enough and has seen this long enough recognizes that there is thermal damage, there is loss of subcutaneous fat, and as a result, the faces actually look older after they're doing this, doing a treatment that was supposed to make their face look younger. So that's the irony of the whole thing. And it's regrettable because I can't even do fat transfer in those patients. I can't put fat in the subcutaneous space. When I put fat transfer, I'm putting it deep, significantly deep pockets where there's layers of fascia and things like that, so the fat looks smooth. If you try to put fat in the subcutaneous layer, you're gonna get lumpy, bumpy looking fat, and that is going to look terrible. So don't go try to fix that problem with fat. Don't try to fix that problem with filler. Neither one of those things will correct it. The best way is to avoid it. And if it happened to you, I'm terribly sorry. I know what you must be feeling and what you've experienced, because I hear it all the time by patients that they have literally looked like they've aged as a result of some of these radiofrequency microneedling treatments. If you are gonna get microneedling, and we do this in our office, we do regular microneedling, and then we also use RF microneedling, but we always use it at shallow depths, like 0.5 millimeter, et cetera, because all we're trying to do is improve the quality of the skin. We're not trying to tighten the skin or replace a facelift. This is where a lot of these problems starting to come into play, is people are trying to avoid surgery, but then they end up causing new problems. You can't avoid surgery. Just recognize that reality. Number 4, choosing the wrong plastic surgeon. Someone's got to say it, right? I mean, you all walk around town, you look at all these faces, they look like they've been through the wind tunnel, unusual, eyes that don't close, et cetera, et cetera. Folks, I'm telling you, that's not a product of facial surgery. That's not the product of a facelift or a blepharoplasty or an eyelid surgery, et cetera. That is a product of a poorly performed surgery in the hands of the wrong surgeon who doesn't have either the skills or the experience to perform it the right way. My practice, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm just letting you know, I mean, we get patients literally from all over the world, all over the country, long wait list. It's been this way for 20 years. The reason is because my outcomes look natural, they look normal, no one looks like they've had work done, and as a result of that, people are happy. I always say we have some of the most discerning, most carefully researched patients you could possibly have. Most patients study me and study all surgeons all over the place. I mean, literally the world is their oyster, and they ultimately, say, hey, this is the person I want to go with. And they often take a year or 2 and sometimes 3 years of research to discover the right surgeon. You need to do the same thing. There's a surgeon for everyone, for every budget, for every situation. But if you can't find the right surgeon, don't do the surgery. Best advice I can give you, I promise you. If you can't find the surgeon, don't do the surgery, because you will regret the outcome if something doesn't go well for you. So study hard, and I've done some videos on how to choose the right surgeon, what qualifications to look for, what meets the eye test, all those other things. There's a long list of things that you need to look for, but don't make the mistake of making a rash decision for the surgeon to do your face. You will regret it. And number 5, trendy surgical procedures. Folks, how often, if you've been in this game for a while, and I've been in for, like I said, 20, 30 years now, so many procedures have come and gone. So many trends have come and gone. Don't follow a trend, because you don't want to be on the other side when that trend is no longer a trend, and then it just becomes a laughing point, right? I mean, we've seen these big lips, we've seen the cat eye trend, right? We've seen, the Brazilian butt lifts that have been like overly done. We've seen extreme liposuction. We've seen buccal fat removal, where all the buccal fat is taken out of the cheeks. And there are so many little trends that have come and gone. You don't want to be a part of a trend. When it comes to facial rejuvenation, there's only one concept you should understand and accept and want, and that is to take some steps backwards in time. It's not a cosmetic procedure, it is a restorative procedure. You're just simply trying to unwind the aging changes that have happened. So if your jawline and neck has come down this way, you want to bring your jawline and neck back up this way. If you've got a little extra skin on your eyelid, you want to remove a little extra skin. You don't want to change the slant of your eyes or lift your brow in an unusual spot or do anything that is going to change the structure of what your face looks like. Those type of procedures do not end well. So these are the lessons that we have learned. And we don't need to relearn these lessons by making mistakes. And that's the point of this video, is to help you make good, solid decisions, avoid bad ones. Fundamentally, if you can't do any of the surgical treatments when the time comes, folks, take care of your skin. Trust me, you will not regret that decision ever if you use the right type of skin treatments. I've obviously developed the trifecta because I believe the KaramMD trifecta is super simple, but super effective. So that's my solution to a problem that a lot of you are facing. But if you want to understand more about what is required in a good skincare program, check out some of my other videos in Skin School, which really break it down. Also, follow and subscribe to the KaramMD Journal newsletter. It's a free newsletter that gives you all sorts of information. Again, empower you to make good decisions for yourself. So if you can't do the surgical procedures to get your jawline and neck back up, focus on skin until you can, until you find the right surgeon, you have the right budget saved up, et cetera, because at the end of the day, you don't want to make short-term decisions that lead to long-term consequences. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I love helping you guys make good decisions. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, hit like, share this with some friends and family. Let's get the word out. Let's help people make good decisions. And until next time, Dr. Amir Karam.